These are not bulls, these are not bears, they are pigs. And if you're an investor, that should be a reminder of a classic Wall Street saying. You can make money as a bear or a bull, but you never make money being a pig. Well, how do you decide when to buy and when to sell and how to pick the winners? One very good tool is your personal computer and today's sophisticated investment software. Today we'll show you how to be a Wall Street winner, maybe, as we take a look at investment software on this edition of the Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by Hewlett-Packard, working with industry leaders to ensure compatibility across the board and across the network. HP PCs, you're looking at partnership in a whole new light.
Additional funding provided by the SPA, presenting the Excellence in Software Awards March 13th.
Hi, and welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet. With me today is Sebastian Ruppli, senior editor with PC Magazine and an expert in investment software. Sebastian, the question I have is, can I use the number crunching power of my PC to pick stock winners?
Yes, you definitely can. What a lot of people turn to pick stocks is this paper-based value line investment survey.
You'd have to read all this phone book stuff over here.
Yeah, before the PC, you had to go through all this information. I've got the same stock market data on my computer here, and I've got it for the year of January 1991.
So we're kind of going to test what would have happened had we listened to the computer and then bought those stocks.
Yes, that's right. Now, I've plugged some earnings-driven criteria into the computer in January 1991, and I want it to sort for these very profitable stocks. What I'm going to do to get it to sort is hit the F2 key.
And boom, it did it.
Yes, we went from 1,600 stocks to 3 stocks in that amount of time.
It would have taken weeks to do it, obviously.
Would have taken weeks.
Stuff. So it's recommending 3 stocks we should have bought in January of 91.
Right, and I hit the F5 key to pull up those 3 stocks, which are the Gap, U.S. Healthcare, and U.S. Surgical.
All right, so we can take a look now what would have happened at the end of 91 had we paid attention to what the computer said.
That's right. What I'm going to do is go into a Windows-based program called Wealth Builder here, which draws nice-looking graphs of stock market performance. Over on the left side, the big bars that you see there are
the 3 stocks the computer said to buy.
Yeah, and as you can see, they did well. The Gap, U.S. Surgical, and U.S. Healthcare, in order, those are the yellow bar, the blue
Gap,
bar, and
Healthcare,
the red
Surgical.
bar, all went up an average of 140% for the year of 1991.
It really works.
That's not too bad.
Okay. Today we'll show you how to use your computer to make wise investment decisions. You may have heard commercials from the Charles Schwab brokerage house offering free investment software if you invest a certain amount of money. The program they offer you is called Street Smart. How good is it? We talked to one Charles Schwab customer to find out.
When Ted Evans retired, he decided to take charge of his savings and investments based on his own research, on his own time, and on his own computer. He now trades online using StreetSmart, a $59 software program from Charles Schwab. With the help of a Schwab trainer, Ted became a self-sufficient investor, and he doesn't regret it.
I like to do my own research. I subscribe to publications that allow me to take advantage of their research, so that I don't want a broker phoning me, telling me what I should buy, telling me what I should sell, nor do I want to pay a high commission on the transaction. What I want to do is to make my own mind up about what investment will be best for me, my family. Then I want to go ahead and place that transaction. I don't want to have to phone a person because much can be lost in a phone call and in translation. And I don't want any errors happening because when errors happen, undoing them is complicated.
StreetSmart users can buy and sell stocks, bonds, and mutual funds online 24 hours a day. The program also tracks account balances, positions, and transactions, and it maintains an unlimited number of portfolios. StreetSmart traders get a 10% discount on commissions and accumulate credits which can be used to obtain Dow Jones news and other investment research. While most trades are still handled in the old-fashioned way, by a telephone call to a broker, Schwab is eager to expand the use of online trading.
It adds to our capacity, and we have the ability to add an enormous number of what we call online sessions at a time. And so even with a market spike, with the worst market spike, a customer might have a little bit longer wait, but they should be able to get through on telebroker or on the software.
While some investors feel comfortable watching stock prices on their home computer, quite a few enjoy a more direct view of the action, and still others may not own a computer. But Schwab believes that it's just a matter of time before most investors become computer street smart.
I think there are two trends, and one is the technology trend, and one is the I know more about my own finances and brokerage trend, and they're converging. And so with street smart, we do see customers becoming savvier. We see them starting out, and they may be active to start with, but they may not. And as they grow with the product, they're asking for more. They're coming back to us and saying, okay, now that I've learned about this, I'm ready for more information, or I'm ready for more capabilities.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Giles Bateman.
Now, any investment software is only as good as the data it uses, and the data usually comes from some online service. So we're going to start by looking at how you get the data into your computer. Here to help us is Carol Wallace of Prodigy. Hi, Carol.
Hello, Stewart.
All right, if I want to use my software to analyze stuff, figure out what to invest in, how to make a lot of money, and so on, I want to suck down real-world information. How do I do that using Prodigy?
Right. With any company that you're looking into, you want to get the most complete picture possible and the most up-to-date picture. So what you want to do is head over to the Investment Center right away on Prodigy.
So you have something on Prodigy called the Investment Center.
Yes, we do. It keeps track of all of the stocks that you're looking at in your own personal portfolio. But when you're thinking of trading, which you can also do online, I think you want to quickly take a snapshot of that company, which you can do in a couple of minutes online.
So let's say I'm thinking about IBM and whether to sell what I have or buy some more or something.
Correct. I think the first thing you would do is take a look at how the stock has performed. For instance, we have charts online that will show you the previous year's performance on IBM so that you can get a visual picture of how it's been
So this
doing.
is the numbers data, what the stock prices looked like over this period of time during the past year.
That's correct. But you're going to need a lot more information than that, certainly. And what a lot of people like to do is take a look at what the press has been saying about that company most recently.
So I look at the numbers and then I go say, what kind of news stories have there been? What are the magazines, Wall Street Journal saying about it?
Correct.
Right now?
You're pulling down Dow Jones Company News, and you've got the last 21 days worth of headlines. So that certainly helps give you a good indication of what has been happening this week with that company.
And if I want to dig real deep and just get a lot of those hard numbers, you know, the analysis kind of stuff.
Then you want to grab your company reports online. And as you notice, this is all integrated. We only type the company in once, and here are dozens and dozens of pages of thousands of data on the company that really lets you do your thorough research. Now, of course, with the internet becoming so big, I think what the other nice thing about having an online service at your fingertips is that you can hop on a web browser and get a world of additional information.
So you know, excuse me, you know, have the web browser here, and I can run out and just get all that junk that's out there, the zillions and zillions of bytes a day.
That's right. So you can take simply maybe 5 minutes to run around your online service and then head over to the online discount brokerage and make the trade with a lot more confidence.
So you can trade online. I can actually say, hey, buy me 100 shares of whatever right there.
That's right. That's right.
So, and here's your web browser, huh?
That's right. And as you can see, they do have a world of financial information on the web browser too.
Thank you very much, Carol. All right, once you have a stream of investment data coming into your computer, you have to do some analysis. That's where the software comes in. Here to show us one approach, a program called Windows on Wall Street, is David Barnes of Market Arts. How you doing, David?
Doing fine, Stuart.
Okay, I've done the online bit. I've downloaded all the information about the stocks I'm interested in. How do I use the software now to make an analysis, decide what to buy, when to buy, that kind of stuff?
Well, a powerful feature of Windows on Wall Street is the ability to do just that, to do technical analysis. And let me give you an example of some of this. First of all, let's open a chart. Let's go to a high-tech composite comparison.
Now, what's this going to show us?
Now, what this shows us is the comparison of stocks such as AST, Borland, and Compression Labs to the high-tech composite of those particular securities.
The yellow line is the high-tech group altogether, what
That
their
is
composite
correct.
performance has been. And I can see, for example, that red graph, which is Borland, is outperforming the group.
That's correct.
So it might be a good idea to own some of that, maybe.
It could be. It all depends. There might be other indicators that you want to apply against this particular chart.
Okay.
And let me give you an example of some more of those. For example, let's take a look at moving averages of 4, 9, and 18 days.
All right, now what are moving averages?
Well, moving averages are a smoothing of price information, of price data.
And the 4 and 9, so we're basically looking at what the momentum of price movement was over a 4-day period or a 9-day period, that kind of thing?
That's correct. You may want to determine that you may want to buy the particular security after it's gone over, say, a 4-day moving average or a 9-day moving average or an 18-day moving average.
So this gives you a lot more information than just day-to-day what happened.
That's correct.
Okay.
Let's take a look at another chart. Let's open up Quaker Oats with the Relative Strength Index alert markers.
And what does this tell us?
Well, the alert marker diamonds show where the RSI indicator's bottom goes above 70 and below 30. And what this indicator is, it's an indicator of itself. What it's trying to show you is that at this level, you'd probably want to sell the particular securities, and at this level, you'd probably want to buy it.
So based on the analysis, the software might say, when it gets at this point, I should sell. If it gets at this point, I should buy. And the little markers tell me that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's take another look at, say, IBM with what we call the MACD buy-sell signals.
This is sort of the program trading kind of thing, and for the little guy, basically. It's going to give me signals, now's the time to buy, now's the time to sell.
Remember that technical analysis is a study of price movement. It's not it tries to serve as a prediction of future behavior. What we have here, of course, is the buy-sell signals I was talking about on IBM. Notice here is a signal to buy. Here's one to sell. Of course, here's one to sell, here another to buy.
All right, so the software really is doing not only giving me the data, but making its own analysis and coming up to conclusions for me, which then I can accept or reject.
That's correct. As a matter of fact, we go so far as to also allow you to take a look at profit system reports. In this particular example with MACD on IBM, you can notice that your analyzed rate of return, if using this system, would have been 42%.
Had I done this, it's always in the past somehow, had I done that, I would have made 42% or whatever.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now we can also, of course, allow you to take a look at all these in one full screenshot.
All right, David, suppose I don't understand all this stuff and all these complicated terms and graphs you've been talking about. Can I go in the software and actually learn all this?
Certainly can. As a matter of fact, what we provide is what we call, or what you could consider to be an educational library of sorts, a financial library. For example, what is a chart? Or I can go into a complete financial glossary. And I can also take a look at maybe what are the steps for a beginning investor to learn how to invest.
All right, now one other thing you have in here, you have some sort of automatic assistant that will automate the process of downloading updated information so I don't have to do it manually every day, right?
That is correct. Let's take a look at our personal investment assistant. He's currently up and running, but had we just opened this, he would have come and woken at that time. What we can do, the investor typically is very busy. He's always active and doing a lot of different things, and he's ill-served yet if he doesn't pay attention to his daily investments. What we allow him to do is to come in and do an action, for example, download data, and then schedule on a daily basis when he wants to do that.
So every night at 2 a.m. while I'm sleeping, sign on, go over to Prodigy, pull down the data, and I'll have it for me in the morning.
Exactly.
Okay, Windows on Wall Street, thanks very much. Now, any investor knows there are no magic secrets to making money on Wall Street, but there do seem to be a lot of examples of novice investors who have made some pretty good decisions. One smart player is 14-year-old Jimmy George of Redondo Beach, California. He uses a program called MetaStock.
Meet Jimmy George, a 14-year-old who enjoys playing basketball in the schoolyard with his friends. He also has a huge collection of baseball cards, which he trades with his schoolmates around the kitchen table. Jimmy has one other hobby. He's a fervent stock trader who makes his own decisions with the help of software called MetaStock from Equus International. He trades easily now, but starting out was difficult.
Jimmy had called around to a number of brokerage firms, and he basically got the phone slammed down on him. He had called 2 other brokers in my office, and I happened to be working late, and he called about 5 o'clock. And I picked up the phone, and I heard this high-pitched voice, and right away my ears perked up, and he says, "My name is Jimmy George. I've got $200, and I want to buy 8 shares of Homestake Mining." So I start asking the questions like, why do you want to buy 8 shares of Homestake Mining? Well, that's all the money my father's going to give me.
Jimmy's broker introduced him to MetaStock so that they could both view the same charts and technical data during telephone conversations. The technical analysis software also gave Jimmy a quick introduction to market terms and how to spot trends and buy signals. Jimmy assembled a group of stocks that met his performance criteria. Now, when his 10 favorite indicators reveal a strong buy or sell signal, he calls his broker. So far, the system seems to be working.
One company I made 68% in 7 days. And told me to buy it and then told me to sell it.
Anything else?
Another company, in 35 days I made 105%. And it definitely, and that stock is one of the stocks that you can look back from year to year, and every year you know at the same exact time it's going to just go up. That's what that software shows, that stock, by indicators looking all the same, that the stock's going to go up, and that's a trend.
Jimmy would like to work on Wall Street someday, but for now he's satisfied with using Metastock to make his own investment decisions.
For a person his age, he has performed right up there with the ones who've been in it for 5 or 10 years. Yes, he's got his act together because he follows a strategy and he sticks with the criteria.
If you're brand new in investing, have a plan going in. Don't just say, okay, I want to buy this just to buy this. Have a plan on what you're going to do. That way, if something does come up, you can say, well, look, this is what I plan to do, and stick with your ideas, because if you thought them out well, they'll do pretty well.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Giles Bateman.
Many investors put their money in mutual funds as one way to hedge their bets and cover the inevitable losers with winners. Software can help you pick mutual funds too. Here to show us the Reuters Money Network is Mark Goldstein, president of Reality Online. How you doing, Mark?
Morning.
As I figure out from what you're doing here, this is kind of a combination of the Prodigy Go Online, Get Data, and the Windows and Wall Street analysis tools in one product?
Right. What we've done is basically package what we think is the best of both worlds, where you have an online system that delivers information, but we've combined and written our own software package that takes a look at that information and personalizes to reflect what it is you're looking for.
All right, so let's take a look at it. Here's Reuters Money Network is up. And how do I use this stuff?
Well, the way it really starts is that you start answering questions right up front. Who are you? How much money do you have? In this case, what might be your risk profile, your tolerance for risk? You might also answer questions about your goals, retirement, buying a home and whatnot.
But this screen we're looking at right now, let me stop. This is kind of a personalized financial newspaper for me?
Right. What ends up happening is it acts as an agent. It understands you, who you are, what you're looking for in your life, and from there it just goes out and fetches the information you might be interested in.
So it's pulling stories, news stories relevant to what I own, what I'm interested in.
Right.
The quotes of the stocks I own or I'm interested in, et cetera.
Right. So for example here on your Reuters Money Network page, you've got your quote list. You can jump right into news. And for instance, one of the companies you might be following might be 3DO. And you're pulling down news from Reuters, from Dow Jones, from various other sources about stories about 3DO that were in the news.
But again, there's an agent that's doing this automatically, you're telling me?
Right, so you don't have to do anything. Unlike being on an online service where you're doing all the browsing, here everything's prepackaged. It says we can put all this together for you and do it in less time.
And say each day I sort of look at my personalized, this is your personalized edition of the Reuters Money newsletter for the stuff you care about.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's this graph stuff?
Well, what you can also do, which is pretty neat, is you can combine information from a variety of sources and graph it. Here I'm comparing the Fidelity Magellan Fund with Microsoft. And for example, what you have built in here is information on Microsoft, and it could be 3 or 4 pages from Standard & Poor's. And you can combine that with really any other data point. It could be information on a CD, mutual fund.
Well, let's go back to the fund. What about mutual funds? Can I take a look at the different performance of mutual funds here?
Yep, we can go right into the mutual fund database, and what you might see in the database, and here's a specific fund which might be Acorn. This is updated from Morningstar every 3.5 weeks. So automatically you're going to be pulling down the latest information from Morningstar, and it's quite detailed on, for instance, the Acorn fund. And then you can graph it, compare it, and sort it in any which way you might want.
Okay, so I can go into this graph and then pull down a couple of different funds and see how their graphs compare?
Yep.
Can you actually show me how you would do that?
Sure. Here we've got, we're looking at the Acorn fund, and we might decide, tell me how Acorn has performed maybe relative to the Fidelity Magellan Fund, or relative against to Microsoft or Dow Jones stock. And you basically just make these selections, you pull them all up in the graph, and the graph could look like that, or you could look at, that could be a 12-month return, that could be a 10-year annualized return.
So what was the performance of those various possible investments I might have made over the past?
Exactly. And so it's all combined here. The software also will analyze your portfolio. For instance, there's a mutual fund report, which goes in there, we look at your portfolio, and we tell you which funds you have that we think are good, which ones you should consider selling and why.
When you say we, where's the we? Where's the intelligence that's doing that?
The we is Reuters. Reuters is the world's largest financial information company, and we have a series of analysts on board that spend all their time writing these types of models and making them available to individuals.
So I personalize what I'm looking for, what my goals are, and actually when I go online, I'm also accessing the intelligence, not just the data?
Yeah, we have a staff of 150 people back based in Pennsylvania, and what they do is basically constantly building these models and massaging data so that individual investors can understand it. That, we think, is the real problem.
Okay. Now, so you buy the software and you pay for the service? Is that how it works?
The software is pretty much free. I mean, it's a $24 software, but you'll find ourselves bundled if you were to buy a Compaq or an IBM machine.
It's
bundled
sitting on the drive when you buy the machine.
Right, and the service is free for the first month and $10 a month on an ongoing basis.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mark. All right, now you've made some money, but you're starting to think about retirement, and that may require a totally different investment strategy. Here to show us a software program that specializes in planning ahead for the later years is David Block of the Vertigo Development Group. All right, David, I have your program. How do I use it to plan my retirement?
Well, you simply enter information about yourself, and the program will help you plan and make the key decisions that you need to make to come up with a comfortable retirement.
So first thing, obviously, I have to put in a profile of me and who I am and where I'm at and when I want to retire and all that stuff.
Exactly. This page here gives you an overview of the entire process and all of the steps that you need to go through to make your plan.
Okay.
The product is organized in the form of a book. So you simply turn pages to read about retirement topics and enter that information that you're talking about. So for example, here I've entered information about you.
Well, theoretically about me, okay?
Exactly, that you're age
All right, we've got
30.
somebody who's 30 years old, wants to retire at 55, is making $1 million a year, etc.
Exactly.
Okay.
Over here, you enter information about the asset allocation that you would want for your investments, how you're going to divide your investments between stocks, bonds, and cash.
Okay.
Now, you can enter that information manually by simply dragging these sliders around, or you can have the program select an allocation for you based on how much risk you want to take.
Okay, so just slide that risk bar and it will tell me what percentage then ought to be in stocks, bonds, cash, and obviously low risk. I don't want any stocks, high risk, more stocks, etc.
Exactly.
Okay. What about, how do I factor in, say, the Social Security thing? I want to know how much that will be and therefore how much I need in addition to that.
Well, this worksheet helps you calculate all your Social Security benefits. The program will do all those complicated calculations if you decide that you want to include Social Security. All these entry fields appear.
Okay.
But that decision is not always a very easy one to make. People don't really know if they can count on Social Security.
Exactly.
So the book handles that by providing detailed knowledge on all aspects of retirement planning, including Social Security. So the pages of the book are filled with text and video.
So I can read about the strategies and the balance of Social Security and investment income and so on.
That's right. And all this text was written by experts from the Wall Street Journal and Dow Jones. And we also include all this video. There's over 40 minutes of video from experts from around the country.
I don't believe people are going to lose their Social Security. I'm in a minority there, but I read a lot about this.
So I can actually call on these guys, ask questions, they'll answer my questions, etc.
Exactly. Finally, we take all of the information you've entered and we roll it up into a total retirement plan.
All right, so that graph is what my retirement would look like right now?
That's right, based on the entries that we've made so far. So this shows as you age, your wealth will accumulate.
So you save, 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 retire, spend, spend, spend.
Exactly. And
right,
right
now I'd run out of money at age 69 or something.
That's
which
right.
is not too good an idea.
That's right. So what you can do is you can play with all of those key decisions that we were talking about.
So just adjust those
with
slider
these
bars?
sliders.
So on my retirement age, I say, okay, I'll wait till I'm 65.
You just drag that slider.
Ah, okay.
And you can watch your savings go
off the chart.
Off the chart, exactly.
All right, now the second one there is annual retirement expenses. So I'm assuming I need about $48,000 a year to live. If I'm willing to live on less or want more, I slide that.
If you decide you want to live on more, then your retirement savings are going to be eaten away more quickly.
Okay, and then how much should I be saving each year, right?
Just simply drag
so
that
again,
around.
if
you
I want to
reduce that to almost nothing, you're not going to have very much.
Right.
You go up, then you're going to have lots of money. You can change the scale of this chart to.
Okay. Now, does the program then sort of give me some advice, give me some analysis after I've made my decision on all the parameters?
Yes. This page here contains a video that actually changes based on the data that you've provided.
Just like a good adventure game, huh?
That's right. So if things are going well, it'll tell you that. If not, it'll tell you where you need to go.
So I put in all the numbers, say this is what I want to do. I go to this page and somebody says, good idea, bad idea, you forgot this or whatever?
That's right.
Now, is this a little bit different from what we looked at before? Even if I'm doing things like Reuters Money Network or Window and Wall Street, this is really a different program I should be playing with because it's a different investment strategy, I assume.
It's looking at your overall financial planning and instead of individual investments and how they're doing.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's our look at investment software. If you would like to know more about any of the programs we showed you today,